Good afternoon, dear faculty members. Request, please inform your colleagues to join the session. We are starting in 2 minutes, so I request, please inform your colleagues or friends to join the session as soon as possible. Narayani ma'am, good afternoon.
Okay, happy Holi to everyone. So shall we start the session?
Yes, ma'am, we can start.
Okay, fine. So today we will continue where we left yesterday, and then we will do some hands-on session. Okay, so I'm hoping that all of us are here. Just okay. So participants, yesterday we basically looked at what are the 7 components of a prompt, right? So we also understood what is prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is nothing but a process of crafting clear and effective prompts in such a way that the model that you are using is able to give you the desired output in the first attempt. Correct? So yesterday, we looked at components. So the first component was role. So what this essentially meant is that rather than simply saying that, define something, we are trying to basically make it take up a particular role and then ask the model to provide us the output. So what this essentially ensures is that it is able to provide us, uh, from the corpus, those particular generative tools which are available in similar roles. Okay. So this is the reason why we assign a role. Okay. So even in the prompt that we had shown, right? So if you remember, we started with a prompt in our first session. So what was the prompt? It was to generate our oops. I think we basically generated content for oops, right? So we had a prompt like this, if you remember. Let me just share this window and I'm going to just explain to you what are the different components that were available in this particular prompt and then how we can improve this prompt even further. Okay. So let's look at this particular prompt that we have. Okay, so I'm just going to share my desktop. You can see this particular prompt which was shared with you. Correct. So if you look at this prompt, so let's increase the font. So you can see here, you are an experienced computer science faculty member preparing. So can you see that we have already assigned a role here? Yes. This particular, you are an experienced. So this particular domain you can see was assigned, correct? So in case we wanted to change this particular prompt for a medical class or we wanted to change this particular prompt to for some other domain class, we should have changed this. So I'm just going to highlight it, right? So this you can see is assigning a role. You are an experienced computer science faculty member, right? Similarly, you can see here we have this oops. So not only is it telling here the role, we are also giving the objective. Am I making headway here? Are you following, everyone? Okay, so you can see that we have got these two places where if at all we want, so there is this role and this is the objective. You can see this, correct? Everyone? So we had the role here and we also had the task which is clearly provided. Okay, now we are providing info. So what are all the info? So let's go back to our so you can see that this is the info. So what is the info that we have? First here, BTech CSE students. You can see this is the information we are providing, correct? So you can see this is the information we have provided. Now you can see that we are actually telling it what we want. Can you see this? This is the structure and the format. So what does this all this become, guys? All this formatting that we have provided, right? What will this become? So now let's try this out. Okay, so we will basically check this. We will just try to put this and see what happens. Let's go to our ChatGPT. Okay, so we will just try to put this prompt rather than anything else. Okay. It is giving me a class overview. It has given me a class structure. It has given me an introduction. So is this following exactly what we have given? No. So in our particular plan, we wanted the class overview, the class plan, lecture notes, student handout, class activity, and quiz, right? So here you can see what all it has done. So you can see it is giving me the topic, duration, target audience, learning objectives, class structure, 5 minutes by every 5 minutes. It's giving me an introduction. So how I should start the class. It is giving me input. You can see this should be used between 5 and 15 minutes. Then it is giving me concept for 15 to 35 minutes. Can you see this, everyone? Then it is saying code demonstration. So interactive student exercise, common student misconceptions, quiz assessment. So you can see that it is actually giving me 10 different pointers, right? This is different from the format that we have given. However, you can see that it is quite good, right? Just we have only covered 3 components in this. What are the 3 components? Your role. You can see we have asked it to consider the target audience, correct? And we have given what is the domain or the subject, which is basically going to be content for its use. And finally, we have asked it for output. So how would you rate this on a 5-point scale? How would you rate this particular output from ChatGPT? So you can use the chat window. How will you guys rate it? So are there people who will rate this as 3 out of 5? Do we have people who will rate this output 3 out of 5? So if you will, please raise your hands. No? Okay. So anyone who will rate it more than 3? Do we have anyone? Yes? Anyone? So Bharati, Chaitali, Deepika, Dinesh, Shanti, Swapna, Kauramma. So anyone? No? No input? Okay. So you can see that even when I give these 3 paths, right, I am getting very good outputs from ChatGPT. Now we will improve this further, correct? So let's see what all we have given. So now you can see that we are specifying. So we are saying that this is a full package. This is the structure and format. So I want the output like this. Can you see? I have basically given a role. I have given information on what I want. So 60-minute class, and the subject is object oriented programming systems. And this is my target audience. Okay. And you can see that everything else is actually what I want. Correct? Do you agree? How many of you agree with me? Yes, examples are not given, correct? But now we will go through the components one by one. Yes. Definitely this one line that we have got, it has got the role, it has got the context, it's got the task, isn't it? And we have basically given constraints and output. So if you look at this full prompt that we basically have run on the day 1, right? You can see that it has got, what are the components you can see? So examples are not given. What else is not there in this particular one? What else is not there? So Manisha is right. We have not given any examples. What else is not there? Criteria. Yes. What else? Everything else is there. Is there a role? How many of you think it has a role? Everyone, right? It has a context or inputs. So the inputs can be made better, but it is there, correct? You agree, everyone? Task is there. So it's a 60 per minute class, and this is the topic. So that is the task, right? Then constraints. So you can see that we are literally giving all the content here, right? So, but do we have any constraints here? Have we written anything about constraint? So you can see here, ensure that the tone is student friendly and explanations are, this is the constraint. Can you see this last line, everyone? This is a constraint. How many of you agree? Output format, all the everything that we have noted in between to a certain level is output format, correct? Yes. So the examples are not there and evaluation criteria are not there. So how do you think, should we give an example in this? Would you be wanting to share a complete package, maybe which was given to you either by your school or by your college or by your department? Would you want to share it with LLM? Would you want that particular example could be to be used here? What do you think? How can we give an example in this case? Okay, so what we can do is we can copy this, right? And we can see what is the content we have got. So for example, we can basically look at our general format and we can put it. So here you can see that we do not have an example, but we have given very clear definitions of what we want, isn't it? Would you agree or not, everyone? So we would not want to share our confidential information, correct? So rather than giving examples, you can see we have defined every section very clearly what we want, correct? How many of you agree with me? In fact, I was telling you, right? Do not share your confidential or private information in LLM. So to a large level, it's possible that if you are working and you have your own notes, right? Some of this could be confidential or personal. So you would not give it to the LLM. So what we have done, we have very clearly given what are the different aspects that we want to be followed. Okay. So in this particular prompt, how important is example? Do we need to add an example, do you think? Everyone? We can add an evaluation criteria and check whether this is improved. Okay. So let's do that. So we will add an evaluation criteria. You can see that I am sharing this particular prompt with you. So let's open it. Okay, so let's open it. Can you see my screen, everyone? Okay, so you can see my screen. Okay, so now you can see that I have shared a particular prompt with you. So let's look at that. Okay, so let's go to a new window. So you can see what all we have put. You're an experienced computer science faculty preparing for a 16-minute class, right? For an first year BTech CSC students, create the full class package with the following structure and format. So what are the different concepts in this? You can see. So rather than giving examples here, right, what we have done, we have clearly given every section heading. What are the topics? You can see that we also given in detail what we want, right? We want the learning objectives. What are the prior knowledge required, right? So all of this we'd already given, right? So you can see that. So you can see that a lot of this prompt is actually coming from your domain knowledge. So rather than using examples, we are actually basically giving it a very good framework which it can follow very clearly. Correct? Yes. So for these kind of concepts, I don't think we should go for an example. What do you think? Should you give an example here? Would you want to bias it with some other example? Okay, so maybe we will try it with an example also. Okay, so you can see that I have got lecture notes, student handouts. So all of this was given, right? Now you can see that in quiz, we have put this particular guardrail that there should not be any ambiguous wording. Only one correct answer, mix of recall. So you can see that this is the guardrail we have put. And we have given the output format here. Yes. Then we have given assignment, visual summary. So maybe I don't need this. Now we will add the evaluation criteria. So what is the evaluation criteria? You can see alignment, Bloom's taxonomy, concept accuracy, pedagogical quality, clarity, relevance, engagement, right? So you can see that I've added some evaluation criteria. Well, let's see what it gives me. So now what you can see is it is clearly defining the learning objectives also in terms of what it will do. So when I'm defining, it's a recall. When I explain, it's understanding. When I apply, it's basically a demo or an application. So when I'm differentiating, it's an analysis. You can see this, right? So this is a demo, then finally an analysis. So you can see it is giving me this. So we basically now need to evaluate this versus our day one output. So any of you have the day one output with you? Maybe you can go to your chat history and check. So let me also check. So we can basically see our idea is not only to construct the prompt, we have to definitely check our output, this output with what we got on day one. Can you guys quickly see what did you get on day one and whether this is better? So can any of you do a quick check and let me know what are basically the improvements that has come on this particular output based on our criteria? So one thing we definitely know is you can see that it is now much more clearer about the difficulty level. Okay, it is giving hints. And you can see that the format, the language is slightly textbook-like, right? It's easy to follow, it's clear. Any other difference can you find, everyone, based on our criteria? So maybe I will also check 1 second. Okay, so let us just put this side by side. Anyone finding any other difference? Is there anything that you basically thought that adding this criteria, evaluation criteria has enabled? Do you find anything to be better off? No? Okay, fine. So we will go to the second example.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Actually, your screen is not visible.
Okay. No issues. Let's check. Okay, so this is a prompt that we will try. Okay. So let's develop. Okay. So we want to, let's say, create a LinkedIn post. So currently I'm not having my so let's go to a new. So now I want to write a prompt which will give me a nice LinkedIn article. I want to write an article which is around 800 words, or I think around 2000 characters, 2000 to 3000 characters. Okay. So how will we go about doing this prompt? So what can be the role? So let's create a prompt, guys. So how will we go about doing it? Suppose you want to write a LinkedIn post, right? Then what will be your thought? So the screen is not visible because we will basically, I wanted you to think about what we will write. Okay. So now let's maybe open a whiteboard. I want all of you to participate. So let's do a new whiteboard. Okay. You can see my whiteboard, everyone. Okay. So what will be the role? So my objective is publish a LinkedIn post, article, 3000 characters about GenAI transforming teaching in India. Okay. This is my objective. So what can be the role? So now let's think about what role we can take. So what will be the role? So to do this particular post, right? What will be the role? You can give your own role. You are writing this article, correct? So you can give the prompt that you are a, so you can put your own designation, correct? So, so teacher or faculty member, okay? In a private school, college, teaching, then you can say what you do, right? So here again, you can filling the blanks here. Okay. So this is the role. What is the second concept? So we need to put inputs. What are the inputs? In this particular prompt, what will be the inputs? So we need to put the topic, right? Then we should write who's the audience. Audience is basically your target audience, whoever you want to target. Yeah, Shamrao, you want to say something? Go ahead. And what is the goal of your? So these can be your inputs, right? So you can say, this is my topic, this is my audience, this is my goal. Correct. So these becomes your inputs. Now you can put a task, right? What will be your task? So basically here you will say, so you can please understand that this is my objective. I've just given this as an assignment, right? But my prompt starts here. Okay. So my prompt is going to start only from here. Below the green line. Okay. So in fact, we can say that okay. Am I making sense, everyone? So what will be the task now? From the objective, you can write the task, right? What will be the task? Write a LinkedIn article spanning 3000 characters. And exactly, you can put your title also about how Gen AI is transforming teaching in colleges and engagement of the youth in the domain. Okay, something like this, correct? Now we want to put some constraints. What can be the constraints for this particular goal? What will be the constraints? So if you're writing this, what will be the constraints? What will become constraints, guys? What are constraints? Constraints will be what? Length, tone, writing style, correct? Then professional, it should be professional. LinkedIn guidelines. What else? So this is all correct? Yes. So here then can we basically look at output format? We have done constraints. Now we will have output formats. So in the output format, you can actually say that I want a hook. So my first line to capture attention of my followers. Or you can say that my idea is not to get attention of my followers. I want more visits to my profile. Okay. So whatever, so you can see that. Now you can give some examples of hooks, correct? So here in this particular prompt, you can start giving example of hooks, which you really liked or you have made, okay? Then what else? So we have given hook, what else will be there? So there will be a main insight. So you can put your insight. Then you can ask, you can talk about, you can ask it to give instances where this has improved learning outcomes in your class or college, okay? So you can then have an insight to insight 2. Okay. Then you can have encouragement. And then maybe you can have with a strong closing, right? Suggesting areas. How many of you are following me? Yes. So you can see that now what we are doing, we have basically taken all our small components, right? And we are building our LinkedIn prompt. Of course, you can see that I have just put my thoughts here, correct? Now we have to give some examples. So you can put some example of hooks. Okay. What else? You can have examples of insight. One, examples of insight two, right? So you can have example of good closing. So you can do all this. Yes. Now we can also put an evaluation criteria. So what will be the evaluation criteria? So you can basically talk about, this must be of IELTS grade 8 level written comprehension. Okay. You can add relevance while keeping the mood bright. Okay. So, can you put, so this could be some of the evaluation criteria. Okay. Keep sentences short and okay. So things like that can become your evaluation criteria. Yes, everyone. So professional tone. Okay. High conciseness to word limit. So these can all be your evaluation criteria, correct? So anyone who has basically created a prompt like this, do we have anyone right now who has a prompt on you based on, so you can see that we have taken each of those 7 different concepts along with the examples. So here we are given example of hooks, of insights, of closing, right? So you can actually now put all of this in words briefly and you can convert this into a prompt, correct? Is there anything missing? Do you find anything missing? We have followed everything, correct? Okay. So can any of you share any prompt that you have created? Maybe I will make this whiteboard accessible to everyone. So how many of you have controlled that into? So you can save this if you want. Okay, you can take a screenshot. But how many of you have actually converted this into a nice prompt? Do you see the prompt is like buildings, one piece at a time, right? Any of you who's created this particular prompt, have you completed? Any of you? Or you're working on it? Okay. So I will share a prompt. Of course, you have to make changes to this prompt. Okay. So I want each one of you to definitely change a few. So I will share that prompt and then I will show you what are the changes you should do to this prompt. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to share my window. So you can see my prompt, right? So you can see I have written this. So these LinkedIn thought leadership, writer specializing. So of course this has to change. Why? Because you will put your own profile here, correct? You can be a LinkedIn award winning professor, or you could be a professor known for this. So you have to basically capture your own LinkedIn specialization or the way you come across in LinkedIn here. Am I making sense? So so you can see this can be changed, right? Similarly, your topic can be changed. Your audience you can change, correct? So goals can be different. So instead of having high awareness and engagement, you can say that my goal is to maximize my shares or my likes. Okay. Now you can see that this is the task, which is write a LinkedIn post that explain how generative AI is changing market research workflows and why companies should adopt it. So can you see that what I have written is nothing, it's not the topic. I am basically giving my point of view here. Yes. So this is definitely one level articulation more than the topic, right? Then you can see I have put some constraints. I put professional language. So this is a post. So this was not an article. So what we put on that was an article. So here I can change the words. If it's an article, use simple professional language. So since you are a professor, you don't need simple professional language. You can look at a language that you perhaps will be using as a professor. Avoid technical jargon. So you can see you might remove this. Strong opening hook, encourage discussion at the end, right? So you can see that what is the output format, hook, main insight, example, closing question. So you can see this is my format, 2 or 3 relevant hashtags, example hook, example closing question. So this is what kind of shot is this? So here you can see I have given examples, right? So this is what? Is this one shot or two shot? Or is it zero shot? This is one shot, right? I'm giving one example hook, one closing question. Then you have an evaluation criteria. The post should be evaluated based on clarity, readability, relevance, engagement, professional tone, conciseness, and within word limit. Yes, everyone. So I'm going to share this with you. You can make your changes. And you can show me your updates. So now it's 3:50. We will take a 10-minute break. After the break, I think XLR wants to tell you about some programs and exciting offers for those who are continuously available for our sessions. Okay. So shall we take a break? How many of you want a break? Yes. Okay. So we will take a 10-minute break. Once we are back and XLR gives you the information, we are going to look at more demos like this. So I want higher participation. Okay. All right. So even though it is the break, you can ask any questions or queries, if any. Sushmita, can I just proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can.
Narani ma'am, we will just take for 15 to 20 minutes. So can you please stop sharing your screen? Then later on you can continue with the class.
Sushmita, I would request to stop the screen sharing so that I can proceed forward. Yeah, thank you. So, a very good afternoon to all the faculties, HOD, principal who have joined in for today's session. I believe the trainer is engaging the session. So, I have joined in for a quick discussion on your support, as in terms of the placement, where today it's just not about placements, it is about making things possible by supporting your students and directing them rightly in the direction of interviews, or it could be in bringing in opportunities or to guiding them on how to prepare themselves for the job opportunities. So let me take a quick few minutes to give you the insights which I would want to present it to you. So here we see FDP student placement nomination drive, connecting your top students with direct interview opportunities at partner IT companies. So this initiative is from XLR, designed exclusively for the deserving students from classrooms to corporate interviews directly. So what we are expecting is the faculties or the HODs to rightly identify such students and help us to know each other so that we will help them in terms of bridging these gaps or helping them to crack the job interviews. So this is completely a curated opportunity for the students, who the deserving students, to reach them or make them reach the corporate success. So let me quickly walk through. The core objective is we would want, that is XLR would want to identify the capable students through the faculties, HOD, principal who are present here, connect them directly to the hiring companies. So this is not going to be a mass hiring, but it will be purely on the merit-based nomination, wherein we see the deserving candidates who are being referred by the faculty or the college and support the employability through the CSR-linked hiring, where here we see the freshers from 4 to 9 LPA opportunities. And this, we are getting it done. We are going to strengthen the bridging between the industry and the academia, not theoretically, but practically. So how is that we are going to do is, we have a suggested model. Firstly, we would want to identify the performing students in their academics who are good at their communication skill and who really have the urge to learn, the right attitude, and will be able to make up to the interviews. So students with strong foundational technical skills will be eligible for this interview, or the where they would be reaching to the interviewers. So learners who show potential, strong communicators, and ready to sit for the interviews, prepare themselves on the non-technical and the technical. It could be on coding skills or quantitative aptitude or logical reasoning, all of these, and then get nominated by their own teachers or the faculties or the trainers who have trained them on those subjects.
and refer them to us. So once it is happening, the benefits which the students will get it is a direct interview access, not just only the job portals, but the direct interview access, a competitive fresher package, which would range from 4 lakhs to 4 to 9 LPA. And this would be from the real industry interview exposure with a proper structured preparation pattern, which will be designed by XLR, and the design pattern will be shared to the students to help them to crack the job interviews which are being aligned by XLR. So even if you think that the student has some gaps where your students are really good in the technical, but they lack in some non-technical or vice versa, XLR is here to bridge that gap and help them to reach to the interviewers or the corporate industry. So this transformation will be completely done through XLR, wherein that support which we are looking for is identification of the right deserving candidates who are good in their communication or their technical or non-technical. Somewhere if they lack it, XLR is going to mold them on those aspects. So this is a career acceleration, and it's purely not the placement which we are going to do. So how is the selection process or the interview flow would look like? So to start with, once the students are being nominated by the uh, that is faculties or the HODs, they would undergo a initial screening by XLR, and that will be there will be an assessment to check their skills, either if they will fit in the role. All of these, there will be an initial screening which will be done by XLR on their foundational technical knowledge, or if they are aligned with the role, how is their communication readiness, is there really they have that interview desire or the willingness to attend the interview. All of these will be done in the initial level. Followed by it will be those students who are clearing it will get shortlisted, will receive the interview invites and preparation resources from XLR. Then we will introduce, that is XLR will introduce them, the students, to the partner companies and will undergo the interview process. There would be interview rounds, that is technical and HR rounds. Once after the students clear these rounds, they would be offered with the job offers. So it is directly shared with the students. So this would be the process, which is simple. So all that which we are expecting from the faculties and HODs who are attending this program is to give one last chance to their own students to support them in connecting us, wherein we would be doing the screening and shortlisting them for the interview process, give them preparation ideas or the techniques on the campus recruitment training, which will again help them to crack the job interview. Finally, engage them with the technical and HR rounds with the companies and help them in receiving the job offer. So this is very simple and straight, which is put across. So what in addition to it XLR will do is, we will do a pre-interview training, that is the assessment. As I had mentioned, though the faculties and the HODs would be identifying the deserving candidates and there might be some fine tuning to be done, their XLR will support those students in giving them a pre-interview training. And after the training, there would be an assessment to again prepare them for the job interview. So it would be even in addition to it on the resume preparation or the group discussion, all of these aspects. And there will be complete coordination with the partner recruiters, which will be done, scheduling and everything would be done. And all of these, the learner will be able to view it, virtually view it through a tool as well. And the feedback, in case if there are some gaps and still the learner has not cleared the interview, those updates also will be shared by XLR to the HOD or to the faculties. So thereby it is very transparent that what exactly is happening between XLR and the student, or the hiring company and the student. So all of these on timely updates, we keep the college updated. So this initiative is just a part of our CSR activity. We believe employability is responsibility. So today we request the support from the faculties to quickly share it or scan the QR code, fill in the details, or mail us to fdp.placement@xlr.com for those deserving students. And from there on, XLR would be connecting with the students and helping them through the job interviews. So if there are any questions from the faculties, I would request the faculties to chat or use the chat and write the questions there, so that we would be connecting back and also answering these queries right away. So I'm just holding the screen for a few minutes so that the faculties can scan the QR code or copy the email ID and mail us back with the deserving students so that XLR will reach them back. Or we can also have a discussion with the respective faculties or HODs who have queries. So please nominate your best students and let us give them the access, let us give them the visibility. So I believe that together we can help them out and we can turn the potential into placement.
There are some questions on the chat window.
Okay.
So if you can.
What will be the duration and fees? Okay.
And is there any fees for it?
Sushmita, could you please confirm if Sharon is there?
I'm just checking.
Yes. So for now, we will take all your queries and we will revert. I see Dr. Anil Kumar Vishwakarma has asked a question. Is there any fees? So we will rightly give you all these information. I request you to fill in the form. So if somebody is still scanning, I can hold it for some time. Or else for those who have filled in the queries, we would be reaching out to them personally and giving them the answers. So thank you all for giving me the short time to give you this information, which would be definitely helping your students on connecting and helping them in terms of rightly seeking them for the new job opportunities. So thank you all. Thank you, Shushmita. And over to the trainer.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So, dear faculty members, the registration link has been shared in chat, and this is not the attendance link. I request if any concern or query you wanted to know, you kindly fill the form. Our team will connect with you. Okay, we'll continue with the session. Narayani ma'am, over to you.
Okay, so please, we have shared the registration form links to avail the service. So those interested or those who feel that your students can benefit, pass this form to your dean or to someone who might actually be the one to take action. Okay. All right. So let's come back to our class. So how many of you tried the particular prompt? Did you try the prompt with the changes? So basically, you can just open the Word. You can make all the changes to the prompt that you want. Okay, so I'm going to make some changes to this prompt and then we will try this prompt, okay? So let's make these changes so everyone can see my screen, okay? So so here we will put 3000 characters, right? Okay, so you can see I have made some changes to this particular prompt. So let's now put this on ChatGPT and see whether we like our output, okay? Yeah, so do you find this post insightful? Do you think it is capturing your attention? Or you think this will get more views on LinkedIn? Because I had made these changes, right? Rather than AI, I said LLMs, correct? So do you think this is good? Hello? Do you particularly like the structure? Everyone? Yes? Is it simple? Are you able to understand, go through it? So there is a single information which is shining here, right? So basically, it is just telling me if I just read this hook, market research is no longer limited to survey timelines or reporting cycles, and it is decision ready intelligence delivered at the speed of business. You can see that it actually gives quite a big lift in terms of engagement, right? Everyone. So you can, it's not like I give you a prompt, you have to use that only. You can make changes to the prompt based on your knowledge. Okay. Suppose I do not like this. What can I do? So we can actually say, okay. So can you now see now how it has changed? But you can see everything else has also changed, right? Correct? Yes. So basically, you will find that LLMs are iterative. And like we said, everything becomes a token, correct? So we can basically say that only change the hook, keep everything else. Okay. Yeah. So you can see that right now I actually have something that I can post. Correct? Everyone? Am I making sense? Yes. So now let's look at another task. We are going to write another prompt. We are going to design rather another prompt. Okay. So content creation. So basically we have done this. This is done. So we have basically created content for a class. Okay. So suppose you are doing short story writing. Okay. So you want some science related short story, or you basically are trying to write a short story with engineering students in mind for, some engagement or for some function, right? So how will we go about doing this? So I'm gonna basically now, where is the whiteboard? Shushmita, where is the whiteboard?
It is visible, ma'am. You're asking about which, ma'am? The screen which you are sharing, it is visible.
No, no, no. I'm asking about the whiteboard. I just used a whiteboard. I can't see it anymore.
Okay.
So forget that. So we will write it here only on the screen. Okay. So suppose you want to write a creative short story, right? So what will be your role? So guys, you can put it on chat or you can use the mic and give me feedback. What will be the role? So basically, you can say that you are a story writer or a screenwriter, okay? And you can basically talk about the task in hand, right? So you have a role. So let me share my prompt, maybe. Then we can make changes to that. Yes. So this is my creative writing prompt. You can see this. So let's open a new prompt. Okay. So here you can see you're an award-winning science fiction author who specializes in writing intellectually engaging stories for undergraduate engineering students, right? So can you see the role? Of course, this seems too much. We can change it. Okay. So basically, you write sci-fi stories which involve science and engineering topics to solve puzzles in the storyline. Okay. So you can see that who's your audience? Your audience is going to be teenagers, right? It's not will not be and science enthusiast. Okay. So the theme is what? AI and ethics. Okay. Length is 800 to 1000 words. Tone is thought provocable but accessible. Okay, take a write a short science fiction story that explores ethical dilemma of an AI system that begins making decisions independently in a smart city. Constraints include at least one moral conflict, include one dialogue exchange, avoid overly technical jargon, maintain narrative clarity. You can see output will be title, story, closing reflection. So you can see this is the opening style. Okay, and the evaluation criteria is clear narrative, ethical dilemma, emotional engagement, right? So we see this. So we are going to put this in our chat GPT. Okay, so let's put it. So you can see it is giving me some huge story. Yeah, you can see this, guys. So this is a prompt which we have made changes, and you can see it's actually written a huge story. This is perhaps around 5-6 pages, right? So we have done this. Now we will do a analytical literature review essay. So let's try to use another prompt for this. This is a factual essay writing, okay? So I have shared the prompt with you guys. So I request you to just open it. So you're a senior academic reviewer. So this you will change, right? In computer science or whatever domain you can change. Evaluating research submissions for a peer-reviewed journal. Context is this. This will change. Audience, this might also change. This could actually be domain-based peer review or some researchers. This is the lens. Write a critical analytical essay reviewing current research trends in machine learning for healthcare analysis. So you can see it is having constraints, output format, example, evaluation, right? So let's try to run this. So you can see that our prompt here, okay, it definitely looks to be around 300 words, correct? Let's see how many words this is. So I think around, in fact, less than that. So around 185 to 200 words is the prompt. Look at the output. But I would basically tell you guys that we need to always sound caution that here you can see that it is not given us, it is given as references. You have to go and check. So because we have seen many times that the references it gives are could not be real, they could be made up also. Yes. So you can see here that we have written a review paper. This is almost like a review paper for machine learning in healthcare diagnosis. Okay. Yes. So now let's go to our next topic, academic conference poster. So what is this? Basically, you are writing for submitting. Let's say you have now written your uh, this peer review paper, right? So let's say you want to poster, write a poster on that for a conference. Okay. So this is going to be our prompt for that. So let's open it. Okay, so tell me, how will we get the output of our last, where should we put it? Definitely, suppose, let me create, I want to create a poster of this paper that I have written. It's a peer-reviewed paper, right? So then I want to make changes to this for that. So I want to create a poster for that. Okay. So first let's go and get our, whatever we have generated here. This is our paper, right? So here we have to basically say that role is you are preparing a professional academic poster or something like this. Okay. So we have made these changes. So let's copy this. So actually we don't need to copy it because it was available on my screen. Okay. But if you are writing it for the first time, then maybe you should copy it. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this because it is already available in my screen. And we know that if it's available on my screen, it means that it is available as tokens, correct? So we'll just make some changes to this for the above. Okay. Okay, is this how generally you have posters submitted for conferences? Is this correct format?
Yes, ma'am.
It is, right? So can you
Right.
see that I have never written any poster, okay? But can you see that it automatically is helping me do that? So you can see we can even convert it into a latex or a Canva poster. Yes, you can see this, everyone. So is the concept of different prompts now clear to you? How we have to use the 7 components and also the examples. It's clear? Anyone has any questions or queries?
Madam, we can create international publication papers also with this.
You can, but there are 2 constraints to this. One constraint is nowadays international publications, they check for AI. They don't want AI generated text to be more than 20%. Okay. So that
Yes, ma'am.
means that you probably have to paraphrase these to make the language sound not AI. So what is AI language, guys? It's basically the average language which is used. That's why it is easy to identify. So basically, when we say something is AI generated, what happens? There are specific patterns that you can check. For example, you will find that before and there will be a comma. Then you have two, instead of having one hyphen, right? You will have 2 lines. Okay, so this long lines would be there. Then suddenly semicolons will be more prominent. Okay, So even if you see the language, you will find that there will be multitude number of words which will be there. Okay, so these are some of the ways in which you know that these are AI generated. So if you can take care of all of this by using some paraphrasing tool, that will do. Okay. Second thing is always check for the references. Many a times you will find that it will show you some reference which doesn't exist at all, or it will point to some parts of the paper which is not correct. Okay. So these are the two things you probably should check. So there are basically Quillbot and many other websites where you can, I think as a professor, you get some privileges. So you can sign up and you can put your papers and check for AI writing. Yes? Am I making sense, everyone?
Yes.
How does it identify AI writing? Yes. So that's what I'm trying to say, that AI writing is nothing but we know, right? LLMs do not have any intelligence. It cannot write. It cannot make sense. So it is possibly looking for specific topics across different books, and it is generating or predicting words from these other books. So you will find that it might, so whenever I'm writing it again and again, it will give me different permutations and combinations of these lines, correct? So some of the easy ways in which you would know that whether there is AI is, you can see that you will have comma before and. Okay, then you will find that there could be, instead of having one, it uses semicolon quite a lot. Okay, and you also see that instead of having a colon, it will have two lines. And another easy way to know whether it is AI is, you will find that different AIs, they basically use emojis and all. So that is also something which helps you to understand whether this is AI generated from the outset. Okay. But otherwise, what basically we need to do is we basically can just edit the grammar. So you will find that the way that an Indian would compose a line would be slightly different from how this AI is going to compose. So you can use tools to paraphrase this so that the essence of the line is not lost, but the construction of the line is much more looking manual. So let's understand that as a person, right, you and I might have access to, let's say, 5,000 or 10,000 English words. AI is having access to how many ever tokens that it has access to. So it might be using words which probably can be inferior to what we are using when we are writing, research and all. So hence you will, it probably is easy to identify whether this is AI generated or not. Yeah, am I making sense? Am I answering your question, Rashmi? That is only conceptually. There are certain tools which will actually do it also. Yes. So for example, here, since I already had this essay, I did not even, refer to it. I just said, look at the essay above, right? So like that. Okay. So we will now come to another important concept, which is very, very requisite for professors like you and me, right? Which is the concept of not doing the task, but evaluating someone's submission, correct? So for that, we are going to look at a reasoning model, which is available in LM. LLMs have got many reasoning models. We'll be using the model called as chain of thought. Okay. So here you can see that if you find this particular, like you were asking whether it's AI generated, you can see this is AI generated. Generally, we only use this one, correct? A simple. Can you see the difference? Yeah. So this is AI generated. This is what generally we use. So I have put this just for your own identification. Okay. Okay. So now let's understand this chain of thought. So what is chain of thought prompting? Chain of thought prompting is when you tell AI or the model that you are using that I want you to think step by step. Okay. So chain of thought will basically be like a max proof. If A happens, then B, B happens, then C, C happens, then D, like this. Okay. It will not jump like this. Okay. So this is the chain of thought or the step by step reasoning check that you can do via AI. Am I making sense? So for example, if you are having these different quizzes or brain teasers, right, where they say that I have one apple, there are, I give half to my child, I give a quarter of the remaining to my husband, how much is remaining, stuff like that. So we basically want the device to basically think step by step. So we will look at how we can do it. Okay. So let's look at a demo prompt, COT. So just like we did, no, we basically wrote a poster there. Here we are only going to give feedback, correct? So you can see I have got a chain of thought evaluation structure. So you can see that I am basically saying that this is the role, this is the context. You can paste your student's proposal here. And you can see what is the task? Provide a structured evaluation of the proposal using step-by-step reasoning. Okay. If you want, you can also keep an example, but very short examples. Okay. Of how you want the reasoning to function. After this, you can do that. So you can see what is the chain of thought evaluation structure. Analyze the proposal using the following steps. Identify and restate the research problem. Ensure clarity and relevance. Assess literature grounding. Examine methodology design. Evaluate feasibility. Identify ethical considerations. So you can see I can do all this. Then do not skip any steps. I can put a scoring rubric, constraints, output format, evaluation criteria. Okay. So what we will do now, we will try this also. And we will try this on our own. Basically, we have created one poster, one essay, right? For that only we will create an evaluation. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so we have the COT sample, right? So we will put our okay, so we have written that thing now. So okay, so since I'm going to put this in the same window, you can see that I'm just okay. So let's see how it's going to perform. This is the title. That's correct, right? It has identified it. Now it's giving me step-by-step evaluation. So you can see it is giving me critical feedback also. They are not explicitly stated in the formal objective statement within the introduction. Okay, it's giving me the strengths, area of improvement. This is the feedback you're going to give to the student, right? So you can see this. This gives you a very good understanding. So you can see objectives can be improved, literature can be improved, methodology is, you can see the poorest part of it. Novelty is lower, overall quality you can see is only at good. You can see the score is just only around 50 out of 70, correct? So you can see what is the recommendation? Revise. Yes? Making sense, everyone? So let me share this prompt with you. But am I making sense, guys? So you can also change the COT sample to probably, do evaluation for essays. You can change this to do evaluation for any other assignments or projects that are submitted to you. Okay? Make sense? Are there any other projects or any particular title for which you want us to work on prompts? Is there anything that we have not? I think on the between day 1 and day 2, I have taken all the prompts of interest, right? One of them was how can I evaluate students' paper? So this is why I have given you the COT sample. Okay. Is there any other request for any other kind of prompt? Do you have any request for prompts? So you can put it on the chat window so that we can include that for tomorrow's class. Tomorrow we are actually going to be looking at creating apps. Simple apps. Okay. So anyone having any feedback or any request for any other type of prompt, kindly write to us or let me know in chat window. Okay, so with this, we have seen around 5 different samples where we have used ChatGPT to write papers, to evaluate papers, to write posters, right? Write lesson plans, correct? So tomorrow we will probably try to make some automations like quizzes, automatically creating quizzes, rating, so those kind of simple things we will try to see tomorrow. Okay, everyone?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Smita, we will end the class here. Yeah, you saying something, sir? So you can see that the attendance has been shared with you. So you can use this link to mark your attendance. So we've got 5 more minutes. If any of you have any queries, any requests or any topics for discussion, we can take it up. Nothing? Okay, fine. So then we will end the session here. See you guys tomorrow and happy Holi.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll
Thank
meet
you.
again by tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all for joining. We'll wind up for the day. We'll meet again by tomorrow at 3 p.m. Thank you, everyone.